Good morning, dear attendees. We hope that everyone is safe and healthy. Before we begin our webinar, we'd like to inform you all that information shared in all our webinars are purely to impart knowledge. Basis the information available with us that's extracted from the public domain. In case you intend to act on the same, it will be essential that you review the same with your investment consultant. A disclaimer link is also shared in the chat window. Kindly give us 2 more minutes before we can commence this webinar, please. Thank you. Dear attendees, in today's webinar, our fundamental research team would be giving us insights into the world of auto ancillary and the key components you could look into if you wish to invest and make a potential profit. Before I formally introduce our fundamental research team leads, I would like to mention a bit about our company, BP Wealth. We are a 70-year-old organization focusing on creating wealth for our investors through our advisory research, PMS, and stockbroking services. Even in times like these, our excellent research desk has generated decent returns for our investors. On the webinar today, we have Swapnil Shah, Head Fundamental Research at BP Wealth. A qualified chartered accountant, Swapnil has over 10 years of experience in the field of investments, research, and has been associated with BP Wealth since 2009. Kuber Chauhan, analyst at BP Wealth. Kuber has done his MBA in finance and has been a part of our BP Wealth family and fundamental research team for more than a year. I would request Swapnil to commence this webinar, please. Swapnil, over to you.
Good morning to all our viewers. Happy 74th Independence Day. I wish we get independent from this virus as soon as possible, and also I wish financial independence to all. And one way of doing that is, uh, by imparting knowledge. And this is our effort. The whole idea of this webinar was, to part some knowledge, whatever financial knowledge we have, and which will be helpful in your financial career. So today's topic is overview of auto ancillary. So what we thought, like, we will share, some understanding of various sectors going forward. A brief understanding of the companies of the sector will help in your understanding of companies, and how to allocate your money, because uh, markets runs in cycles. There are some sectors which are cyclical, some sectors which are structural. So if we understand the dynamics of the sector, then maybe we will able to time it rightly. Like commodities, they are cyclical sectors. वो नीचे जाता है, फिर ऊपर जाता है, नीचे जाता है. So if you able to time it rightly, then probably your wealth creation would be higher or faster. So here our effort will be to impart some knowledge today on the auto ancillary sector particularly, and you will be quite surprised, by the data which we'll share. One will never realize, such kind of things are possible in such sectors also. So I'll just begin. Uh, to start with, this is a very interesting question. How many parts does a car have? The picture itself shows, quite a number of parts. You yourself drive two-wheelers, four-wheelers, whatever. But uh, just a guess, if someone wants to try, how many parts you think does a car would have? Uh, Basic, we see steering, the engines, the brakes, seats, etc. But including everything like the engine-related parts, the nuts, bolts, etc., you would be quite surprised with the answer. The answer is over 30,000. Yes, that's true. I was also quite surprised by this number, that a car consists so many parts. But including everything, like from small things to big things. So just imagine, the kind of assembling which has to be done to manufacture a car. And the car manufacturer, they don't produce all these parts. So they depend on the auto ancillary companies for all these parts. So that is why, auto ancillary sector is kind of a very decent bet, where in India there are a lot of companies who have created niche in this particular segment. Some company is expert in making steering, some companies making expert in alloy wheels, some companies making lightings. So these small companies, they have a good future. So we thought, why not cover this sector? This could be a kind of a sunrise sector going forward. This is a brief details of the auto components. Basically, if we want to classify the auto components into various parts, so beginning from engine parts, which consists of pistons, engine valves, fuel injection. This might sound some technical parts, which many of us might have not seen it, or because when we drive a car, all these parts are inside the engine, etc. uh, so the other parts are, the body and the chassis, the metal part, the outer body, then the suspension and the braking parts. Many equipments like headlights, halogen bulbs, wiper. This all obviously we use it, we feel it. Many electrical parts like motors, plugs, ignition systems, etc. And of course the electrical parts like metal parts, the hydraulic, pneumatic instruments, the fan belts. So these are the broad categories of components. And generally in India, a company does not manufacture all this at one go. They are, as I said, they are masters in particular parts. And a main manufacturer, they buy parts from various companies. So a Maruti, they would be buying this auto ancillary parts, say, from 30, 40, 50 odd companies. So we need to connect, like, which company is connected to the original manufacturer. So a growth in Maruti would be a growth for all these ancillary companies which are directly supplying to Maruti, which are directly supplying to Hero. So that link has to be found out, and this could be an indirect play of the auto sector also. These are the brief numbers of the entire sector. And if we see the in aggregate, the auto ancillary sector is of $56 billion as of FY19. That is, close to more than 4 lakh crores. And why in why this India is becoming a auto hub now. Auto hub means many global companies, they are targeting India to manufacturer for their countries for the exports, because two three reasons. Like in India, obviously the labor is relatively cheap compared to global companies and compared to China also. And now with the government proactive, and they are welcoming foreign investments. Obviously foreign investments were always welcome, but the pace at which this government is giving clearances, that is a good sign for India. So many global companies, they are just uh, outsourcing their plant in India. So indirectly, this auto component sector, that is having a good growth, because if a car is manufactured here, the auto parts would be taken from here only. They won't be imported because of the cost component. So this is a very niche sector, and if we see gradually from FY16 to FY19, the CAGR is 13%, which is quite decent at this high base. What are the bifurcation if we see of this industry? That is on the right hand side chart, that is 55% is from the OEM supplies. Now what is OEM? That is the original equipment manufacturer. So Maruti, Hero Honda, Tata Motors, these are the original equipment manufacturers. Like they produce the vehicle, so they would be buying these components. Then there is exports. So some country, in some say in US, General Motors, Ford, they would be requiring auto components for their manufacturing. So that auto component export is there. And there is aftermarket. Now, what you mean by aftermarket? So there are many auto parts which require, once you purchase a car, so you would be replacing your tires, say after 4 5 years, you will be replacing your battery, some of the other parts, there would be replacement demand. So that is known as aftermarket. So there is a big market for this also, for replacement demand, particularly in the tire sector, particularly in the uh, battery sector, and which we have covered in detail. So which are the major parts of the auto ancillary component. Now this is a brief details of.
Swapnil, this is Krishna. I would like to add one more point there.
Sure.
Uh, if just as recently as 10 years in the past, another reason why the Indian auto ants business is looking very nice, just 10 years in the past, no German cars were assembled in the country. They were all CBUs, which is called completely built units. And all of them were imported, and they attracted a very, very high level of tax on the completely manufactured ready cars. German, Japanese, Korean, none of the cars were assembled in India. Because of this high taxation regime and because of the huge demand for these luxury or imported vehicles in the country, all of these people decided, all of these big original equipment manufacturers decided to set up their own plants here, import some of the parts from abroad, some of the parts, source some of the parts domestically, and build the cars within the country to reduce the price point that they can offer the cars to their customers, giving birth to something called a KDU, which is a knockdown unit. This is the term used for the cars that are assembled in India. This has done two very large things for the country. One, it has provided ridiculous amounts of employment for the for the Indian in the Indian manufacturing job pool, and secondly, it has given a massive boost to Indian ancillary manufacturers, and this trend, in our opinion, is just going to continue. Thank you, Swapna.
Yep, that was very insightful, and I can see sir is a big fan of cars, so he has that inbuilt knowledge of cars. Uh, so as he rightly mentioned, like gradually India, the growth story for this exports would be very decent, and just let's imagine like the employee cost or the the basic fixed cost in a country like US versus a country like India. So there is phenomenal gap. So if a country is able to bring down its cost by 20% by manufacturing in India, then why not you know so just to highlight the the auto anchors in India, and as I mentioned that in India, no single company is manufacturing all these parts together. There are only 2 3 large players like Mothers and Sumi, which has reached a substantial size in terms of revenue and in terms of products. But other than that, there are all smaller companies, and generally, auto anch is situated nearby the original manufacturer, obviously, because say if I'm manufacturing seats, that is the seat for Maruti, then my plant would be adjacent to a Maruti plant, and a Maruti plant would be across India. It would be in north, east, west, south, because it caters to entire India. So this is kind of a regional play. Smaller players, they are generally adjacent to the larger players, and they create mastery in that part itself. So we need for a simple, like if you have heard of Minda Group, that is Minda Industries. So they are one of the largest suppliers to Maruti. So if Maruti grows Maruti has done a phenomenal growth in last 20 years. So adjacent to that, automatically Minda has grown because it is supplying 60% to Maruti. So it's very easy sector to track as such. But 2 3 other points, like there are no big margins in this segment, because if you are supplying to the original manufacturer, you there is no pricing power in your hands. It would be ranging, say, in the range of 10% to 12 14% at max, because the original buyers, that is the big companies like Maruti, Hero Honda, they won't let you enjoy big margins. So this is one of, one can say, the drawback, or so the ROCs cannot go at very much higher level, like other businesses. But the steadiness, that is key. The sector will grow at a steady rate, so that is one comfort level here. uh, Particularly in auto ancillary sector, two parts which have command of a high revenue share, or major part. One of that is tire sector. And in India, there are many listed companies available in this sector. And generally, after few kilometers, and depending on how you drive, a replacement demand is there for tires. And I'll just run through the granular details for the tire sector. So in India, the leading players are MRF, Apollo Tires, JK Tire, Seat, TVS, Chakra, and Balkrishna Industries. So in tires also, there are various type of tires, some catering to two-wheelers, some for four-wheelers, some for tractors, etc. So again, the companies are present in different types of tires. Then we have batteries. In India, these two companies dominate, that is Exide Industries and Amara Raja Batteries. Since last almost 20 30 years, these two companies are having a very high market share, almost to the tune of 60%. And they have been doing very well. And the third segment which requires high replacement demand is the engine oil, that is the lubricants. And in this, Castrol is a leader. Many of us would be aware with this name, Gulf Oil and Tide Water Oil. So these are the three, you can say, parts where the replacement demand is high, and that is required at every certain period of time. That is the tires, the batteries, and the engine. Be it two-wheelers, be it four-wheelers, be it trucks, all these parts would be required. So we have covered these two segments particularly in detail, so you will get an idea, particularly if you want to ride auto ancillary sector. So here the scope is very high. As we are covering the entire sector in detail, so we try to show you the manufacturing process also, basically how a how a tire is manufactured, right from the raw material side. Major raw material is of course rubber, and then it's mixed with various chemicals, few textiles, and this is the process. I won't go in much detail exactly how this granular details like cutting and assembling, etc. But this is as we are w- covering in detail, so I thought we'll just cover this slide, and for people who are really interested in going in depth. Composition of raw material. Why we have highlighted this raw material part, because what happens, basically this is commodity, and there is a lot of fluctuation in prices of raw materials. So we need to monitor, if we are covering or if we are investing in tire companies, the raw material component, to track raw material component is very important, because the margins and the profits can fluctuate. Rubber is the key raw material, both the natural rubber and the synthetic rubber, and there are various fossil fuels like carbon black, etc., which are required in manufacturing tire. uh, so 75% of the raw materials are fossil fuel based, and their prices fluctuate. They are kind of indirectly, they move in tandem with the crude prices, and so the company, we need to see the companies which are able to pass on the fluctuation of the raw materials to the end customers. And if we see like which the demand supply dynamics of the rubber, basically two countries dominate this, that is Thailand and Indonesia. They produce maximum natural rubber, and almost 50% of the production comes from these two countries. And if we see the production and consumption dynamic in India, you can see the consumption is high, but the production is not high. So we are dependent on imports for natural rubber. And so that is why we have highlighted this, because if there are much fluctuation in prices of rubber, it would impact the margins of the tire companies. And of course, they have a hedging policy, and over a period of years, they get sense of the prices. So accordingly, their end prices of tires would be adjusted. The industry segmentation, basically depending on the category of vehicle, if you want to just categorize based on commercial and based on personal use, commercial would be obviously tractors, the LCVs, the off the road vehicles. And personal would be like for your personal usage, you use a car, you use a two wheeler, you use a motorcycle, etc. So both would require tires. These are the details for like depending on the category of vehicle, which type of tire would be required. So this is particularly for the car segment. This is for the truck segment, that is the commercial vehicles. So obviously the commercial vehicle would be requiring tire which is of more strength, and because they have to carry a lot of load, so their strength and their size is made accordingly. So, so what are the key features of this sector? Auto is a very important sector for the GDP, and it generates a lot of employment, and it is one of the key indicators of the GDP. So auto sector is always directly correlated with the entire economy and entire GDP. And auto component sector is an integral part of obviously auto sector, and it goes hand in hand. And in that particularly the Indian tire industry, that contributes around 3% of the manufacturing GDP in India. uh, the tire sector is largely dominated by the organized sector, so around 60 to 70% is mainly by the large corporates, and the unorganized sector is mainly for the small tires, like basically for the bicycles. And in terms of volume, India is now the fourth largest market for tires in the world, after US, China, and Europe. And as I said, very few companies dominate this sector, and 80% is concentrated within 10 manufacturers. I'll just go through which are the companies. This is MRF having 24% market share. Then there's Apollo Tires, and there's Seat, JK Tires, Balkrishna Tires, TVS Tires, and the rest other players contribute around 25%. So these are the leaders for the making tires in India. MRF one would have recognized because of the high share price. Many of us are aware of MRF, and these are the granular details, in terms of capacity, in terms of revenue. So in India, MRF is the leader, and their major buyer is of course Maruti, and Maruti dominates 50% car volumes in India. So their growth is in line with Maruti. One one key point to highlight about these companies, generally auto ancillary company or a tire company or a battery company, they are not leveraged in the sense they are never high debt. They don't have a big loans, because here the capex is there, but every 3-5 years they are able to whatever fixed assets they are investing, generally they are able to recover their cash flows, because here the ROCs and the ROEs are in the range of 15 to 20%. So this is kind of a sector when high capex is not required, and always the capacities are planned in the sense they work in tandem with the original manufacturers. So Maruti would be giving a roadmap for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year, to say MRF, to say Apollo, that I see growth happening around say 10%, 15%, whatever. So you plan your production accordingly. So they work very closely. So here uh, it's there is no negative or positive surprises suddenly. Like many companies, their results are very volatile. So to that extent, that benefit is there in auto ancillary sectors. So this is the industry structure. If we want to categorize based on the replacement demand, which I said, like that consists of tires, that consists of batteries and engine oil, versus the original equipment manufacturers and exports. So in FY11, if we go back 10 years, the ratio was 62% was replacement. And if we see today, like FY20, the replacement demand is 58%, and the exports and the OEMs is 42%. So there has been increase in exports, mainly as I highlighted, gradually many companies are coming in India. So this export portion is driving the shift in ratio. And if we see the breakup volume wise, so the commercial vehicle, that is the key driver. 52% of the sales is for the commercial vehicle. Then there is low commercial vehicle, then there is passenger vehicle, that is the cars, then followed by two-wheeler, three-wheeler and tractors. And this is the revenue wise breakup that will go in tandem with the volume breakup. So 50% of the revenue for the tire sector is derived from the trucks and the buses, because their volume is high. Then there is LCV, then there is cars. So commercial vehicles like in India, Ashok Leyland, Tata Motors, Eicher, they are present in making these trucks and buses, and they buy tires from all these companies like MRF, CEAT, Apollo, etc. So what are the growth drivers for the tire sector? Obviously replacement demand, as I said, after X number of kilometers, and after few years you need to replace your tire. So that replacement demand is always in there, and plus the volume of the new cars or trucks or buses which are sold. So there is a replacement demand, plus there is new vehicles which are produced and sold. So this too will drive the demand for tire sector. There's a lot of technological shift also. Tires which were produced 10, 15 years back, now the type of tires have shifted. Now we are using more of radial tires. So due to a lot of technological shift, there is a demand for tires, and there are also restrictions on imports, so that the domestic players are benefiting. So obviously now with the new Atmanirbhar plan which this government has, so gradually all sectors, we are the import part, they the government is not pushing, and they want manufacturing base to be set up in India only. So there is a lot of growth prospects. If we go deep into the sectors, a lot of opportunities are there. Second sector which we'd like to cover is the battery sector, which again is a high revenue generating in the auto anks. And I would like to welcome Mr. Kuber Chauhan. He is my colleague, and he tracks the auto and auto ancillary sector, and he has much insights on this sector. Yes, welcome, Kuber. Yeah.
Can you on the video, sir?
Jai Shri Krishna, Kuber.
Yeah. So can I? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you are, Kuber.
Yeah. So thank you, Swapnil sir, and happy Independence Day to all. I hope all our attendees are safe and doing well. So you must be questioning why we have chosen the battery sector. So battery is not an option; it's a necessity. कि अगर आपको engine start करना है तो batteries चाहिए ही. It's not like कि यार ये नहीं चल रहा है वो नहीं चल रहा है, but we need that battery part. So we have highlighted the battery sector here. Also, for this next slide. Yeah. So जो main ingredient जो रहता है batteries में, that is lead. So what is basically lead? So lead is a chemical element which is extracted from an ore, majorly found in Western Asian parts. So जो use होता है lead का, which is mainly into batteries. Which on the left hand side you can see the pie chart, which consists 74%. Then it is used for cable sheeting, 2%, alloys which is 3%, pigment which is 9%, and rolled production which is 8%, and miscellaneous which is other forms which are 4%. And on the right hand side you can see the flow chart. So we have highlighted the flow chart here कि कैसे basically lead कैसे form होता है batteries में, lead कैसे उसका procedure कैसे form होता है कि lead कहाँ से कहाँ जाता है, and then how batteries के अंदर कैसे वो store होता है, and then in the end you can see the packaging कि वो कैसे वो पूरा एक box type बन के package होके कैसे वो आगे deliver होता है. So here we have tried to show a kind of a flow chart here. Also, here are a few statistics here. The global lead battery market size is around $60 billion. And you'll be surprised कि अपना जो Indian market है, which is right now around or Indian market size is around $4.4 billion, and it is expected to reach around $7.6 billion, $6 billion by 2023. It is mainly because ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा consumption हो रहा है. Even used cars are getting more. OEMs जो है, जो rightly said sir ने जैसे बोला कि OEMs का भी डिमांड बढ़ रहा है धीमे धीमे. So batteries का भी धीरे धीरे वो और उसके डिमांड्स बढ़ने वाला है. So there is an expectations कि ये फिगर को टच करेगा, which is approximately a growth of 7.3%. Right now it's 4.4, and then it will be 7.6 billion. So as per industry structure, lead acid batteries are divided into two: automotive batteries and industrial batteries. So automotive batteries में rightly said कि OEMs है, replacement है. Generally आप सबको पता है कि OEMs और replacement पे ज़्यादा यूज होता है, but industrial batteries so इंडस्ट्रियल बैटरीज में अगर हम लोग देखें तो वो टेलीकॉम में भी यूज होता है. लाइक जो बड़े बड़े जो टावर्स है उन लोग उसको थोड़ा सा इग्निशन देने के लिए, पुश करने के लिए बैटरीज लगाए जाते हैं. इन्वर्टर एज वी ऑल नो कि घर पे होम अप्लायंसेस की तरह यूज होता है. एंड इवन रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, रेलवे एनर्जी की देखा रहेगा कि कुछ स्टेशन से पहले एक वायरिंग, कुछ एक छोटा सा हब क्रिएट होता है साइड में, तो वो एक लेड बैटरीज जो रहती है वो वहाँ पे यूज होती है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. And on the right hand side you can see the consumption part. So it's clearly known कि it clearly signifies कि automotive जो रहता है वो contribute करता है 45 to 50%. And then जो दूसरे जो usages है, inverter हो गए which is 15 to 15 to 20%, renewable energy is again 15 to 20%, and exports which is 3 to 4%. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा उसका penetration domestic market में है, so that's why automotives में ज़्यादा वो use होता है compared to industrial batteries. And industry wise breakup अगर हम लोग देखें तो organized and unorganized. So पहले क्या होता था कि unorganized जो भी players है, जो organized जो भी market है, वहाँ पे इतना ज़्यादा उनका शेयर नहीं होता था. नो डाउट वो डोमिनेंट प्लेयर है एंड पहले से वो था ही, बट 73% नहीं था, उससे कम था. तो 2017 में जीएसटी के आने के बाद से थोड़ा सा जो है ना वो प्राइसेस में उसका जो गैप है वो नैरो होते गया. फॉर एग्जांपल कि जीएसटी के पहले 30% का प्राइस था बैटरीज में, अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड प्लेयर एंड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड प्लेयर. सो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम लोग समझे कि अगर एक बैटरी का जो प्राइस है वो 900 रुपीज है अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड में, and organized में it is around 1200 rupees. So GST के आने के बाद क्या हो गया कि जो प्राइस था, जो परसेंटेज था वो नैरो होते गया, which is now around 10 to 15%. So वही बैटरी अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड मार्केट में जो मिल रही थी 900 रुपीज में, वो अभी मिल रही है यू कैन से कि 1000 रुपीज में. तो अभी एज ए कस्टमर ऐसे कोई भी सोचेगा कि भले मेरे को 200-300 रुपये ज्यादा देना पड़े, बट मैं थोड़ा सा ड्यूरेबिलिटी क्वालिटी वाला प्रोडक्ट लूँ, तो उसकी वजह से वो माइंडसेट की वजह से ऑर्गेनाइज प्लेयर्स का मार्केट शेयर और बढ़ रहा है. एंड ऑन द राइट हैंड साइड यू कैन सी कि इंडस्ट्रियल हम लोगों ने पूरा ट्राई किया ब्रेकअप देने का कि इंडस्ट्रियल में 45% है ब्रेकअप, एंड ऑटो एंड रिप्लेसमेंट दोनों मिला के इट इज अराउंड 55%. सो क्लियरली यू कैन से कि ऑटो इज ऑलवेज अ विनर हियर, क्योंकि एज आई हाईलाइटेड कि सारा यूजेस हो रहा है, यूज्ड कार्स का यूज हो रहा है, डिमांड बढ़ रहा है, पीपल आर प्रीफरिंग more vehicle, because of safety concerns and everything. So clearly it's a better picture and it's a winner in a future front. Also जैसे सर ने पहले बोला कि बैटरीज में there are two main players which is Exide and Amara Raja. So Exide and Amara Raja clearly holds on 80% of market share, guys. 80% of market share. It's mainly because because of their strong brand recall and retail presence. हाँ मतलब एक हो सकता है कि 19-20 का फर्क हो, कि समझो कि एज आई नो कि वेस्टर्न एंड नॉर्दर्न रीजन्स में एक्साइड एक अच्छा प्लेयर है, उसका पेनिट्रेशन वहाँ पे ज़्यादा है, पीपल आर प्रीफरिंग मोर दैट, बट हमारा जो है जो साउदर्न में ज़्यादा है, सो वो थोड़ा सा गैप है, बट both of the players are leading players and वो 80% market share hold करते हैं, which is quite dominating in nature. And so duopoly of market. So here we have highlighted in left hand side में है कि टू व्हीलर रिप्लेसमेंट मार्केट शेयर ऑफ एक्साइड. तो टू व्हीलर में जैसा कि कहा है कि रिप्लेसमेंट मार्केट में भी 29% एक्साइड होल्ड करता है, एंड हमारा जो है वो है 22%. दूसरे भी सारे प्लेयर्स है, अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड प्लेयर्स है, जो 36% होल्ड करता है. सो क्लियरली अगर आप OEMs ले लो या रिप्लेसमेंट ले लो, तो OEMs में भी एंड रिप्लेसमेंट में भी अमर राजा का एंड एक्साइड का सबसे ज्यादा मार्केट शेयर है. Also even in it's not only about two wheeler, even in vehicular में भी they both are leading players, 27% and 16%. So you can say कि किसी का ज्यादा मार्केट शेयर रिप्लेसमेंट में है तो किसी का OEMs में, but clearly both of them are winners in the respective fields. Also let's go to some financial overview of both the companies. So ये जो data set it is the latest one of FY20. So right now the market cap is around 12,000 of Amar Raja, 13,000 approx, and Exide का है वो 14,000 है. So clearly हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि दोनों डेट फ्री कंपनी है, ज़्यादा डेट नहीं है, बट उन लोग की जो बिजनेस प्रोसेस है वहाँ पे डिफरेंस लाई करता है. कि अगर हम देखें तो अमर राजा है तो उसका जो ब्रांड नेम है वो है एमेरॉन. तो क्लियरली ये जो बिजनेस प्रोफाइल की वजह से उन लोग को एक ज़्यादा एज मिलता है. एक अमर राजा ने लास्ट ईयर टू सेकेंड लास्ट ईयर में ही उन्होंने 25% अपना सेल है वो अपना स्टेक है ना 25% स्टेक सेल किया था टू जॉनसन कंट्रोल्स, विच इज अगेन अ यूनिक विच इज अगेन अ फॉरेन एंटिटी जो उनको एक टेक्नोलॉजिकल प्रोवाइड करने वाला है. इवन एक्साइड का भी वैसा ही है. एक्साइड एंड अमर राजा बोथ आर पैरेलल, एक रेस लगी हुई है दोनों में कि कौन सबसे ज्यादा किसको बेट करेगा एंड ऑल. तो आगे देखना ये है कि क्या होगा आगे, कि कौन सा प्लेयर्स किसको बीट करेगा, एंड हाउ दे विल हाउ द पेनिट्रेशन विल वर्क आउट एंड हाउ दे विल रोल एवरीथिंग. So what are the key growth drivers? So growth in four-wheeler replacement to continue. So सबको पता था कि लॉकडाउन चल रहा है, एंड लॉकडाउन में क्या हुआ था कि जो भी कार्स है, जो भी आपकी व्हीकल्स है, वो पार्क्ड थी. नाउ बैटरीज जो है वो पेरिशेबल सब्सटेंस, अगर आप उसको यूज़ नहीं करोगे तो वो पुरानी हो जाएगी, कहीं ना कहीं उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगे. तो उसकी वजह से कार्स जो लॉकडाउन में पार्क थी, तो उसमें कहीं ना कहीं चांसेस हाई थे कि वो उसमें खराबी आ जाए या कुछ ना कुछ इशू आ जाए. तो उसकी वजह से भी एक हायर एक है कि एक हायर एक सेंस मिलता है कि अभी बैटरीज को रिप्लेस करने का टाइम आ गया है. एंड ऑल्सो एक साइकिल रहती है कि रिप्लेसमेंट साइकिल जो है टू पैसेंजर व्हीकल्स का, वो है 2 years का. एंड दूसरे जो व्हीकल्स है जैसे MHCV हो गया, CV प्लेयर्स हो गए, विच इज ऑफ 3 years. तो एक रिप्लेसमेंट साइकिल की वजह से भी कहीं ना कहीं एक बूम आने के चांसेस ज़्यादा है. और ये जो मेजर प्लेयर्स है एक्साइड एंड अमर राजा, बेसिकली उनको एक एडवांटेज है. एंड so second point, yeah, so less expensive lead acid batteries make them more preferable to use. So आप देखोगे कि अभी लिथियम बैटरीज का भी टॉक्स हो रहा है कि लिथियम आयन बैटरीज भी अच्छे से चल रहे हैं, वो भी आने वाले हैं. दैट्स ट्रू, बट अगर आप कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव साइड पे देखोगे तो जो बैटरी जो फॉर एग्जांपल लेड एसिड बैटरी जो है वो अगर मिलती है 900 रुपीज़ की, तो एक लिथियम आयन बैटरी है वो आपको मिलेगी 3600 रुपीज़ की, विच इज़ 4 times हायर टू द लेड प्राइस. एंड ऑल्सो अगर आप देखोगे तो जो वेदर कंडीशन, जो ड्यूरेबिलिटी चाहिए ऑफ अ बैटरी टू रन इन अ लॉन्ग रन, वो आपको लेड में ज़्यादा मिलेगी कंपेयर टू लिथियम. लिथियम में क्लाइमेटिक कंट्रोल ज़्यादा रहता है कंपेयर टू लेड. एंड द थर्ड पॉइंट इज लोअर कमोडिटी प्राइसेस टू सपोर्ट मार्जिन्स. तो लेड प्राइसेस जो है वो ईयर ऑन ईयर है वो कम होते गए हैं. लाइक देयर इज अ डिक्लाइन ऑफ अराउंड 30% इन द प्राइसेस. सो अगर ये चलता रहा, अगर लेड प्राइसेस कम होते गए, तो क्लियरली ऐसा है कि कंपनीज के ग्रॉस मार्जिन्स में उन लोगों को एक अच्छा सा बेनिफिट मिलेगा, दोनों प्लेयर्स को. So here are few listed auto ancillary companies we have highlighted here, as previously mentioned in the slide. Subros हो गया, Gabriel है. Subros again एक कार्स में एसी सप्लाई करने का काम प्रोवाइड करता है. चार कार में से एक सुब्रोस वाली कार निकलेगी जिसमें एसी रहेगा. इवन गैब्रियल इंडिया हो गया, वो जो शॉक एब्जॉर्बर स्टंट्स एंड ऑल फॉर ऑल व्हीकल्स बनाता है. इवन गैब्रियल इंडिया इज द हाईएस्ट मार्केट शेयर इनटू टू-व्हीलर OEMs. लूमेक्स इंडस्ट्री हो गया, अगेन इट्स इनटू लाइटनिंग सॉल्यूशंस, डिफरेंट टाइप्स के लाइट्स बनाते हैं, वो स्टाइलिश बनाते हैं, कीपिंग द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ देयर क्लाइंट्स. इंडियन निपॉन इलेक्ट्रिकल्स होगा, अगेन इट इज इनटू इग्निशन. अपने को कभी किसी को पता भी नहीं रहेगा कि दीज आर द प्लेयर्स की इग्निशन के लिए इतना होता है कि इन छोटे से छोटे कंपोनेंट्स में भी देयर इज अ पेनिट्रेशन ऑफ ऑल दिस कंपनीज. मदर्स एंड सुमी है जो डाइवर्सिफाइड प्लेयर्स है. वी ऑल नो कि वायरिंग हार्नेस में वो है JTA के सर राइटली मेंशन स्टीयरिंग सिस्टम्स बनाता है. इवन 7.5% कुछ स्टेक है उनका मारुति में. एंड क्लियरली जो मारुति के जो भी रहते हैं जो कार्स रहते हैं वो JTKT प्रोवाइड करता है सारा स्टीयरिंग को. बॉश हो गया, एंड्योरेंस टेक्नोलॉजी हो गई, असाही ग्लास इंडिया हो गया, विच इज इनटू मेकिंग ऑफ ग्लास की का जो ग्लास रहता है जो कार्स में, वो ग्लास प्रोवाइड करने का काम असाही ग्लास करता है. सो हियर आर फ्यू लिस्टेड प्लेयर्स हियर वी हैव हाइलाइटेड टू कि जस्ट दिखाने के लिए, हम लोग के जो क्लाइंट्स हैं उन लोगों को दिखाने के लिए कि यार ये सब भी है प्लेयर्स जो अपने को पता नहीं रहता कभी, बट these are इन लोगों का पेनिट्रेशन नीश मार्केट में ज़्यादा है. So this can be a good opportunity for a long term perspective. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Swapnil sir.
Okay, thank you, Kuber. So just to sum it up, like as I said, or to to sum it up, like auto ancillary sector would move in tandem with auto sector, and basically the key advantage here is the volume benefit of the new vehicles which are produced plus the replacement demand of the already existing older vehicles. So as we discussed, like tire would always need a replacement demand, batteries after few years would need a replacement demand on an ongoing basis, lubricants, that is the engine oil, they would be regularly required. So this is kind of a very niche sector where well, demand is kind of a structural sector, and there would be times of obviously slowdown and there would be times of high growth. Like due to this exceptional situation currently, there was a quite a slowdown in auto sector, because one would obviously delay their decision of buying a car in such a COVID situation because of the cash flow issues. But again, if we see the other side, now people will prefer to travel by their own vehicles. So there was a pent up demand for particularly two wheelers, and particularly in the agricultural side, the tractors did very well in last 3 months. So players like Hero Honda, players like Escorts are doing phenomenally well. So there is always opportunities, and our job is to find out the right opportunities at the right time. And interestingly, like we have been highlighting you our how to make your investment life easy via our niche product, that is stocks box. And fortunately we have a auto box also, and where we have been highlighting that you need not bother which stock to buy at what time, etc. The the investments are managed by us. It's very simple process. And if you want to just to highlight, we had initiated the auto box closely roughly in around end of March, and few companies which I discussed already were there in the auto box, like Subros was there, obviously Maruti was there, Hero was there, and you would be quite surprised by the returns. But if I tell you randomly, it's good time to buy auto or auto ancillary, then again there is a confusion, like कौन सा stocks buy करे, कितना buy करे, Maruti buy करे या Tata Motors buy करे, weightages में confusion. So this is a quite a systematic way of buying boxes directly, and the weightages and the stock selection is automatically done by us, and this concept is working wonderfully well. Uh, for more details, maybe Henos can help you with this stock boxing. Thank you.
Thank you, Swapnil and Kobe, for this interesting session on auto ancillary. As Swapnil rightly mentioned, we have created a niche product for all our clients and investors called Stocksbox. Through this Stocksbox, you can invest into a range of thematic boxes across sectors. Further, as Swapnil also mentioned, that in early end of March, early April, we had launched the Auto Box that is personally managed by Swapnil himself, and which also has quite a few names that we've seen in his presentation. If any of the attendees are interested in Stocksbox, kindly visit on the website stocksbox.in to know more, or drop in a contact details so we can get in touch with you at the earliest. I think.
Now I want to add to that.
Sure, sir.
So to my wonderful audience, the main advantage of Stocksbox is, like me, I'm sure you guys do not have the time to go into the details of every company, to go into the quantities, the bet sizes. This is the job for the fund managers and the research analysts, which is why these stocks boxes are managed by the best minds, so that all we have to do is take a decision. Okay, I think auto ancillary or banking or pharma in times of COVID is going to do well. Once I have made that decision, all I need to do is buy a box. Once I have bought that box, the fund managers will continuously manage that box to ensure that you have a well-diversified portfolio, B, profitable portfolio, and C, taking advantage of any movement that happens in those sectors, in those industries. And it is our absolute pleasure to tell you that we not only do we have sectoral stocks boxes, we also have strategy stocks boxes. So for example, we have one called the Tech Buzz box that takes advantage of any of the technical patterns that are being developed in the market. We have one called the Tactical box which is also coincidentally managed by Swapnil Shah, our head of fundamental research, where he very smartly takes advantage of any tactical plays that are available in the market with with mispricing, with demand supply gaps, with mergers, with splits, and we take advantage of those activities in in that box. And we have another box called Momentum 500. Now, these Momentum 5, this box attempts to capture all of those stocks that are going to outperform in the next wave of momentum. So, along with sectoral boxes, I really do urge my audience and my wonderful investors to look at the other boxes and pick those that work well for you and buy them. The ticket size is very small, so it is not difficult for you to attempt to sample one of these boxes. Thank you very much. Anos, over to you.
Thank you, Yuvraj, for adding into that. I would request Swapnil to change the next slide, basically, and commence the Q&A section on this panel. So I think I would answer the first question myself. Mr. Suyog had asked, how different is Stocksbox from Small Case? I say conceptually, both are very similar. But from a platform point of view, I believe the performance that we have given since the time we have launched stock boxes is way higher compared to a small case. Also, I believe that we have a lot more thematic sectors you can pick up from, right from a starting entry points of rupees 10,000 rupees to begin with. And to continue on that, one more gentleman called Ketan Bara had asked, can we do an SIP and stocks box? So at this point in time, we do not have an SIP function, but going forward, we will. Also do realize that this is something that we started anew and it's a niche product. And the more interesting part is ever since we have launched it, we have got decent returns for all our customers on board so far. So if you ask someone, or if from the audience, if there are people who are interested in looking at thematic based investing across various sectors, I think that you should have a look at our website and our product going forward.
Just to add what Hanu said regarding comparison with small cases, Stockbox is actively managed versus small case, because you would be knowing like small case would be having, I don't know what, 200, 300 boxes. So they have just created the boxes according to the index or the whatever sector boxes the companies would be fitting in that, but they are not say actively manage. It's up to you, you know, what time to buy, etc., what time to sell. It's your own decision. But here, like, we are customized, we manage each box and each portfolios the companies actively. So, you know, this is one can say, you know, one step more ahead in active management to that extent.
Also, to add to what Swapnil is saying, the fact that we have all the three types of research that are involved in the stocks box. We have quantitative research analysis, we have fundamental research, and we have technical, all three of them. And it's pretty clearly mentioned on the portal too, that these are the fund managers who are looking at these products, and these are all the products that we have come up with. Dr. Salil asked the question, how does one take out profits from stocks box? Is partial withdrawal possible? Yes, Dr. Salil, partial withdrawal is possible. We are bettering the platform to make sure that it is much more easier for the customer to withdraw a certain amount. But yes, partial withdrawal is easily possible. Apart from Stocksbox, I think we should also take up a few questions that some of our Mr. Mukesh Panchal had also asked. Okay, 1 second. One other person had asked, based on ROE and EPS, isn't Amar Raja a better bet than Exide?
Okay, so particularly on the return ratios, yes, Amar Raja would be slightly ahead of Exide, particularly on the return ratios front, because their efficiency in terms of managing cost is better. And there was a phase where Exide had lost market share. So in order to regain that, they had compromised on pricing power, and of course they had they had to do a lot of marketing and advertisement. So that in that phase, they lost their market share, and due to that, their return ratios are slightly below Amar Raja.
Mr. Aditya Chedda also had asked the question, why has BKT managed to obtain 15% OEM than others? MRF can make sense due to the brand.
Kuber, you want to answer that? Okay.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I actually answered it कि MRF is a very old player than BKT. So and दोनों का जो मोट है कॉम्पिटिटिव मोट है वो BKT का सबसे ज़्यादा है इन OTR. जैसे मैंने मेंशन किया था चैट बॉक्स में भी कि इट इज़ द ओनली प्लेयर हु मैन्युफैक्चर्स 49-inch टायर्स. सो क्लियरली एक सब मतलब ऐसे देखा जाए तो ऐसा कंपैरिजन नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज MRF का दूसरे पर्टिकुलर रिस्पेक्टिव कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स में उसका ज़्यादा है कंपेयर टू कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स में ज़्यादा है एंड BKT का है वो OTR ऑफ टायर रोड में ज़्यादा है. सो क्लियरली बोथ ऑफ देम आर विनर इन द रिस्पेक्टिव सेगमेंट्स.
BKT is niche in making big tires, and they have a subsidiary in US also. So kind of their growth story is quite different, and their pricing is very competitive in US. They are one of the least cost producer. So that is again a tire sector is a niche segment. Within that, again OTR is again a different segment, and in that BKT is a leader.
Swapnil Kriskar also had a question. Hi, we see the future of automobile industry dominated by electric vehicles. Do you see substantial growth opportunities and dependence on battery manufacturers compared to the current landscape?
Yes, that is possible. Electric vehicles, this concept, since last 5 years, it's getting more and more weightage, and a lot of investments, a lot of study has gone into this electric vehicle. But suddenly, what happened? This phase, this COVID thing, which has happened, to some extent, it would slow down investments in electric vehicles, and probably जो ऐसा नेक्स्ट 2-3 साल में होने वाला था वो शायद थोड़ा और पोस्टपोन हो जाएगा. अभी वो 5 years के बाद होगा. सो करंटली आई सी एटलीस्ट फॉर द नेक्स्ट 2-3 years करंटली जो सिनेरियो है, जो ट्रेंड है, वो वैसे ही रहेगा. एंड इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स का जो शिफ्ट है, व्हाट वी आर सीइंग है, आगे जाके ज्यादा होएगा, वो एटलीस्ट 2 साल से पोस्टपोन हो गया है. But the dependence on battery manufacturers will always be there, and both these companies, Exide and Amar Raja, are working on that very aggressively. So they would be the key beneficiaries going forward. Do we have any other question?
Swapnil,
Sir, we cannot hear you.
The BMW iDrive system globally manufactured by Motherson Sumi. Am I right?
We were not able to hear you. I just heard last line, that Motherson Sumi thing.
I'm so sorry. I seem to have a network issue because of the rains. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now you are audible. Yeah.
The global manufacturer of the BMW iDrive system is Motherson Sumi. Am I right?
Yes.
Is it true that they are moving away from Motherson Sumi soon?
There's no confirmed reports as such that they are moving away as such. Not to my knowledge as of now.
So then, why is the price of MSSI corrected?
So if we see like what happened, if we see the entire phase, like Motherson Sumi as a company has grown leaps and bounds in the last 20 to 30 years, and their style was mainly to do acquisitions. They
Inorganic.
somehow have that niche to find loss-making companies, buy them at very low valuations at cheap prices, and then turn around by applying their knowledge and their style of working.
Okay.
So they are done a big acquisitions, and the two companies SMM and SMR. So they were huge sizes, and they obviously had bought that companies at low prices, but their sizes were high and they had high debt. Uh, so they had a vision that we will able to turn around these companies over a period of 5 years, and we are seeing the results. But that phase of that they took high debt and to buy that companies, and globally see the growth is not that high. If we see last 5 years, auto like in India they don't grow at double digits globally. So, and in particularly the in between there was an issue with Volkswagen also, which is a major supplier to Motherson is a major supplier to.
Misapplied to correct.
Yeah. So that was a one of kind of an event that happened. So that had lowered their growth to some extent. But the stock had over a period of time so much fancy and high multiple, so that multiple got corrected. So that's why we see it was kind of an underperformer in last 2-3 years.
Correct. Okay, thank you for that, sir.
Yep.
One is Adil Chadda had asked a question. Any companies which will be impacted with Indians involving Chinese car makers or benefits for the same?
Can you repeat the question? Any company which will be impacted due to manufacturing for Chinese cars?
No. Any companies which will be impacted with Indians avoid Chinese car makers or benefits of the same.
Okay.
China બંધ થાય છે આપણું શું બેનિફિટ એમાં?
Correct. So currently, as such, in India, the it's dominated by largely Indian players only. There is no very big competition in terms of direct final product in auto segment, but in the supplies, that is smaller components, there are always alternatives available. So in a larger picture, that would be impacting to India or Indians in a big way. No such threat or dependencies. You know what happens, there are shifts happening and in every sector due to this China thing. So पहले सस्ता मिलता था चाइना से, no one was able to beat that, right? But अभी एक बार डिसाइड कर लिया है कि चाइना से नहीं लेना है, तो वो अल्टरनेटिव्स ऑटोमेटिकली डेवलप होंगे, दूसरे कंट्रीज से आएंगे, और वो लोग को ज्यादा वॉल्यूम्स मिलेगा, तो वो लोग भी प्राइस टू दैट एक्सटेंट थोड़ा थोड़ा कम करेंगे. तो इनिशियल फेजेस में मार्जिन हिट होंगे, but something has to let go for larger picture. तो ये shifts होते रहते हैं businesses में, so that is a part and parcel.
I think there are no more questions that have come up. I think we could end this webinar.
Sure.
Before we end this webinar, actually, thank you everyone for sharing the valuable time with us. If anyone has any more questions that are specific to fundamental research or to this sector, kindly WhatsApp them to us on the number that you see on your screen. And also do follow us across various social networking platforms that were available, especially Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Also on YouTube, you will find all our previous recordings of our webinars in case you wish to go through those too. Thank you everyone for this insightful webinar. Thank you, Swapnil. Thank you, Kuber. Thank you all the attendees.
Thank you, Kuber. Thank you, Swapnil. This was an excellent webinar. Even I got to learn a lot, and on a subject matter that I feel very passionately for.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well done.